Good evening, everybody. My name is Rich Stambolin, and this is Behind the Counter. With me, as always, Jonathan Adler.
Yeah!
I was going to say Star of Grizzly Knows Best, but I couldn't get it out because I chuckled.
Grizzly knows best.
You could be Grizzly Knows Best.
Grizzly knows best. Understand me?
So what's up?
Not a whole lot, man.
Yeah.
I really tried hard to see X-Men last weekend.
Yeah.
Really tried hard. Didn't happen.
Apparently it's the bomb.
I know. I ended up watching just nothing but South Korean flicks.
Oh, yeah.
And a Colombian drama.
Nice.
Nice.
Like across the street from your house.
Yes. Two Colombians fighting.
Can I mention a little spoiler?
No. No.
Okay, do you know about the end scene?
No, I don't know anything.
You don't know anything about the
Nothing.
post scene, okay?
Nothing.
Me
Don't tell me.
neither.
Don't tell me.
You know about it.
No,
though.
I don't.
Can you
Okay.
not
I'm
tell
not
me?
I'm not going to talk about it, but I'll just say
I don't want to clue.
that most people
Did you see it?
I did.
No, he read about it.
I read about it. I saw that part.
Why do you have to do that? Why do you have
I
to be
can't.
like,
I can't watch it. I can't watch
Don't
it.
talk about
Like,
it. Don't talk about it.
No. All I'm going to say is that it just shows you how the mainstream doesn't know anything about the comic book, and they just tune in because it's like a blockbuster. Because all the tweets that I read, they had no idea what was happening. They didn't know who the characters were. They had it was just so confusing to them on what it even meant.
Yeah.
Multiple Man shows up.
Multiple man.
Siren.
Morph.
Morph from the cartoon. Shows up.
Toad.
Well, Toad's in the first
Yeah.
movie. That doesn't matter. Avalanche.
And Maggot.
Callisto.
Callisto.
Forge.
Mask.
I would love it if they did if somebody did an art house X-Men movie and did the Barry Windsor Smith Forge Storm thing. How awesome would that be?
What was that thing called? That storyline called? It had that beautiful pink cover of Storm.
With Forge and Storm.
Yeah.
Like Storm is in his arms.
Yeah, it's Lovescape or
Yeah.
something like that. It was a real cheesy name. All that stuff was good. All that stuff was really, really good.
It was phenomenal. He was Barry Windsor Smith drew Forge to an old French porno actor.
Yeah.
And he had a really gnarly looking robot leg.
Mon ami.
Yeah,
Oh, he
exactly.
did look like that. I'm looking at pictures right now. I forgot what he looked like.
Yeah, I was he had the mustache and the short hair, and he was wee wee.
Oh, yeah. Forge was an instant character, man. I feel like they forgot what to do with him. He was a pivotal part of X-Men for a long time.
He was. Were you a fan of Jim Lee Forge with the bandana and the mullet?
And the yellow shirt.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How about the bald-headed Forge?
That's a really lesser known version of him.
Yeah, all Forge.
Yeah.
So welcome to Behind the Counter, everybody. We're going to talk about comics. We're going to talk about cool stuff. We're going to talk about comic book movies that we have not seen yet.
And Forge.
And we're going to talk about going to bed at 9:30 every night.
Mm-hmm. Damn right. Bedtime early.
Just a couple of middle-aged guys who love comics.
Love it. I really do go to bed at 9:30.
Do you really?
No. I start winding down. I brush my teeth at 9:30.
I don't do the winding down thing.
I do. My body says no more around 10:30, 11 o'clock.
I hit the pillow and that's it. Usually.
Well, I mean, my winding down is a process.
Yeah.
It's a whole it's like how a cat walks in a circle.
Put your slippers on.
Yeah. Slippers are always on.
Have some cocoa.
Cocoa's always in my hand.
The man.
The man.
Or the cat.
The full cocoa experience.
Yeah. So I'm usually in bed around 10:30.
Yeah.
10:30.
I can't do it. I can't do late nights anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really if I'm out and about, it's a different story. But if I get left alone without stimulation for a little while, I'm gonna fall asleep.
Your birthday was the latest night I've had in who knows how long.
Mine. For me too.
What time was that?
His thing started at 10, and we got out of there at 1:30. So it's not even super late. But I had to have 2 black coffees at the restaurant because I was I was fading.
Oof.
Yeah.
What how late did we stay out at your place the other day?
11:30.
Yeah. No, later than that.
No, because everybody had pizza, and then
Everyone.
Brian had to go see X-Men.
Yeah.
And you guys left around, I want to say 12.
Yeah, I think that's around the time that I got
Again, it wasn't that late at night, but everybody was fading, man.
Yeah. Get hammered a lot quicker now.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's nice.
I don't like it.
I like getting hammered quick.
I don't like it because I can't drink as much as I used to now without getting if I have it's weird because I never thought 22-year-old me would be very upset with this statement right now.
Yeah.
But if I have maybe 3 or 4 beers, I'll feel it the next day. It's not gonna hit me,
absolutely.
It's not gonna hit me like a ton of bricks, but I'll definitely be like, there'll be like a little bit of a haze for a good couple hours. I'll be like, oh, it sucks, you know. And if I try to be like, oh yeah, and pound it, like it's a day and a half hangover.
Oh yeah,
it sucks.
I felt like awful after I hung out with you, and I felt really awful when I hung out with both of you. Because I hate you guys, but also because I drank a lot.
I know.
But like also, no, it is also when because the whiskey you use the Evan Williams stuff, that stuff hits me like gasoline.
Oh, it's the grossest whiskey on earth.
It's like so potent.
That bottle's $10. So.
I know about Evan Williams. It's powerful stuff.
It's a delicacy down south, but up here, it's like the opposite. You know, like usually like a lot of people that I meet from the south are like, oh, you got like Evan Williams rules. You know, like you guys are like, oh, I didn't think you guys had this up here. You know. But, you know, if I talk to like a whiskey connoisseur, they're just like,
that's garbage.
What are you doing to yourself? You know,
does the job though.
It's not aged.
It's like, definitely
blue collar. Put it to work.
I like blue collar whiskey.
I was gonna bring over my my very expensive bottle of scotch.
I like Jameson.
Yeah,
not a Jameson fan.
No, I like it.
I'll go for Jameson before I go to like Jack or
me too.
That's Swill.
No, I don't drink Jack Daniels at all.
I do. The only whiskeys I really drink are if they're not fancy smancy stuff is Makers and Jameson.
I'll do a Jim Beam. I like the Jim Beam.
That's a bad hangover. It's a bad hangover.
Throw that cat in the garbage.
Throw it in the garbage.
I found the cover that you guys were talking about.
What's
the X-Men cover?
Can you pop it on?
It says Life Death, a love story.
Yes.
I sent it to John. It is a creepy cover.
I love it.
So talk to me about comic book news.
We don't got a lot, but we got some morsels.
There's a lot of weird stuff this week.
Where we got Daredevil's cast.
Yeah.
Both for the lead actor, this gentleman named Charlie Cox. I know him from Boardwalk Empire, also playing a Charlie, I believe. He played an Irish gentleman, an assassin / bodyguard. And the showrunner was announced, and I don't have the name in front of me. Drew Goddard was already supposed to do it. And Stephen S.D. Knight, another Josh Whedon crony coming to the mix. Really, this Netflix stuff could be so good. It could be or total like Shield crap.
I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to go in that direction.
I don't know about that. So far, like this guy, I mean, I think I'm naturally inclined if I hear a Daredevil casting that's not a guy with red floppy hair, I immediately have like a knee jerk thing like, oh, it's gonna suck. But the cast, the showrunner of Alias was really disappointing. If that's the direction they're going in,
okay,
because that was one of the people that wrote Twilight. So
I've heard of it.
Yeah, you heard of that, right? So I felt like that weighing on, but I hope it's good. There's still waiting. We're still waiting for Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and I feel like there's another one too. I think there's like 5.
Terry Crews.
Yeah, that's what we want.
I want Terry Crews. I want. It's definitely not going to be Terry Crews. I want Terry Crews. I want. You know what? Here's a weird casting choice for Iron Fist. Bradley Cooper.
That is weird. He would never do it. It's a Netflix. I think since they got Charlie Cox for Daredevil, which is probably their bigger names for the thing, I think it's going to be a lot of like cheap dudes.
TV dudes?
Yeah, TV guys.
Listen, Terry Crews was on TV for many years.
I think Terry Crews would probably make a great Luke Cage show. I think if they don't have a very strong personality for Luke Cage, period, it's going to be an awful show.
Because I agree with that completely. Like, who could you get, man? It's got to be somebody who can nail the serious and the comedy and not come off as completely ridiculous.
Cat Williams.
My ridiculousness for characters, especially of African American descent, black characters, is 50 Cent in his biopic. That's the exact acting I don't want.
Yeah.
You know, like the pandering, like genre pandering acting. I don't want that. You know, Terry Crews is the best. He can do everything, man. That guy's phenomenal. Big fan.
I think he would be great.
Titus O'Neil.
Yeah. I'd like to see Titus. You need a big imposing guy, but it's the personality. Yeah. You can get anyone big nowadays.
You think so?
Yeah, man. Put him in the Marvel part. They got Chris Pratt looking like a god now.
That's true. Yeah, that guy's juiced.
That guy was like a regular looking dude, and now he's like the dude.
That dude is he's the epitome of many fangirls and fanboys' hearts, man. I got one of my buddies who's a gay male in the city. his number one dude.
Loves Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
Could see it. Well, he's like the go-to, shirt off picture, like during like all the summer block. Like if you see like there's your summer blockbusters are coming soon. Just to check out. There's always a picture of Chris Pratt with no shirt on.
Yeah. Which makes zero sense for the character.
Whatever,
but it's in there, Yeah. That guy'll show his butt, like
Batista's got no shirt on,
like Mike Honcho. But you're used to seeing Batista with no shirt on.
That's why he got hired. That's why he got hired. He was the bronze guy in that really bad prison movie.
Oh, it's the worst movie. I can't even sit through that movie.
I sat the whole thing. Terrible.
Yeah. I got through 3/4 of
really
it, and
terrible.
just like I was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, Rizza?"
He's terrible. Period.
Saved all my money. Take this guy. Russell Crowe's in this movie.
I'm gonna cut my hands off. I really thought that RZA was not the man with the iron fist. That he was just gonna be the narrator, and I was so disappointed to see that he's gonna be the central motif of the story.
Of course he is.
No, I thought he was gonna be like a Snoop Dogg appearance. Like he was just doing the voiceover work.
No.
Like this blacksmith that's interacting with all these other characters.
Guardians look awesome.
Guardians looks amazing.
Still haven't seen the new X-Men. I keep hearing that it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I also keep hearing that it's way, way convoluted and that it's just such a departure from the franchise.
Yeah.
But that's fine. You know what? Create your own movies, man. They did it with the Avengers. I think that's the thing that, it took the X-Men franchise this long to figure that out, where they don't have to make movies based on storylines. They just now created, this is the first time that they created a universe within their movies, apparently.
Yeah.
Saying like, you know what, like screw it, we have all these elements and that's it, let's just like put them all together.
Yeah.
It worked with the Avengers because it's an interesting thing, because like in X-Men 3 and X-Men First Class, those movies got a lot of flack because of the of their parallels to whatever stories that they came from, and just like like your original X-Men team, etc. The Avengers pretty much got no flack because it was awesome, and it was a combination of so many different stories.
The build-up is tremendous.
Yeah.
But like, I never thought this new X-Men was gonna be anything to talk about. I think last week we were talking about how it's probably gonna be a piece of garbage.
What have you heard from people that you know?
I haven't heard direct thing from anyone I know. I haven't gotten my Brian review or anything like that. I don't know if I trust his opinion anyway. I love him, but got some questionable choices. From everything I've heard, it's surprisingly good, and it's a good movie beyond the fact that it's just it's a comic book movie. Like it can exist by itself and be a really awesome movie.
You cross that line of like a Batman Begins.
Yeah, it's just there's something really tight about it. But I still gotta see Spider-Man. Like I refuse for that movie to go out of the theater and not see it in the theater.
Do the Andrew.
What?
Just
read the
visualize it and read it on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Do you visualize the movies when you read it on Wikipedia?
I do.
Do you like set yourself up like the lizard, and then you do like an image search for lizard, like
No. I have it all in my head.
Do you make the sound effects too?
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that
Randy Orton?
Snake Man.
Supposed to be the lizard. That's Grizzly.
Yeah.
Grizzly. Yeah.
So what else we got cooking?
Edgar Wright left Ant-Man.
All right, whatever. It happens.
Well, listen, we've been hearing about this since Avengers. Before Avengers, we've been hearing about this Ant-Man movie from Edgar Wright.
Right. Boo.
Listen, did you see his last movie yet?
Hot Fuzz?
No,
Shaun of the Dead, that one?
The other one.
No.
The World's End.
No, not yet.
Incredible. Like
yeah.
After that movie, I was like, I think Ant-Man is going to be absolutely phenomenal the way that the fight scenes are in that movie.
I'm sorry you're heartbroken right now.
I'm not heartbroken. It's disappointing to hear anyone who's been working on a project for that long to be walking away from it. That means there's some type of major creative difference.
Well, that's what they were citing. It's just like he wanted to go one direction, and the studio didn't trust him enough to go into that direction, and they wanted, like it's the Marvel machine, It's like.
But that's what's interesting is like
marketing.
What was the big thing, like the casting of Michael Douglas as Hank Pym? Maybe?
Well, is Paul Rudd going to drop out now?
Well, that's the thing is I don't know if the movie's going to fall apart. Like I could very well see this like beginning the part of like this now goes into the developmental hell. And just like we'll forget about
That's a shame, man. And you know what? Like. Whatever. The dude quit the movie because of creative differences. You're an artist, fine. Like you don't need to make this movie. It's not like.
Well, he knows that if you left, if you walked off the picture, then then he understands that.
I don't need to make Ant-Man, and it just sucks on Marvel's part that they. I think it's like again from a fan standpoint, it's you can see it as like such a weird corporate thing where like they don't understand what they have Now that they lost it, it's just kind of weird because fans are a little bit in an uproar, and then you have like this whole like support system now. Like Joss Whedon is like supporting him, and everybody, all the creators are supporting his decision, because they don't want to like badmouth the guy, but at the same time they want to support like the corporation.
Of course, Disney, Marvel,
and I think it's a bad. I think it's a bad move on Marvel's part. If it was a creative thing, because you're not only getting more superhero movies, you're getting movies directed by reputable directors.
Yeah.
Like Joss Whedon did a phenomenal job with Avengers. And you have, Edgar Wright, who would do amazing stuff with that, man. Shane Black directed friggin' Iron Man 3, I think you have to keep up that trend of like guys who know what they're doing directing these flicks.
Yeah, and also Marvel is going to have to realize, to prevent the inevitable burnout, just to keep it fresh and try out new things without alienating your current audience. It's a real tough battle.
Yeah.
Because you can't, like, as much as I love Avengers, I don't want to see that movie over and over again. Like, I want to be able to see something unique being brought to the table every single time we get together for an Avengers movie.
Yeah, it's really nuts how like literally those movies have to satisfy everybody.
Oh yeah,
the majority of people. From like the kid who wants the toys to the adult who's taking them to the flick, to the adult's parents who grew up with the property.
Well, it's easier nowadays. It's easier for it to be accessible to a regular Joe who's not reading a comic book. Like, number one, everything is much more recognizable. You grew up around comic books, as you're passing on to your kid. Batman's everywhere, Superman's everywhere, Spider-Man's everywhere.
They've always been everywhere too, which is crazy.
Yeah, but there's no stigma really behind like, oh, reading a comic book, or like it used to be. I think it's much more. I think it's easier for people to understand. Like, all right, superheroes are, a cool story out of this stuff.
Okay,
and those have become your popcorn movies. Like they've replaced your big budget like stupid alien movie, or like big budget like machine gun movies. Like those are things like how dominated the summers are now with superhero movies. Those are the biggest news. Those are the biggest things when they come out. That's what Comic-Con is pushing down your throat, is whatever new movies you got.
I'm excited about Comic-Con this year.
Yeah,
you should register. We just talked about this on the last episode, but in case you're tuning in, this is me telling Jonathan to register for Comic-Con.
And I'm saying I will probably
the day before.
Soon.
Usually the day before.
No,
just do it.
I know.
Pull the trigger.
I know. Well, I'm gonna work as a team with this guy.
Pull the trigger. Come to Comic-Con. I want to go to, if you want to come with me, that'd be cool. I want to see how much tickets are. The second week of June, Eternal Con.
What's that?
Garden City.
What's that?
2-day comic book convention, old school.
Oof. I don't know.
Could bring the old camera.
The old camera?
Could bring the
older camera?
The old 8mm.
Oh, nice.
Start filming people.
Shoot some snuff.
They're having a cosplay contest too, man. We should go.
Oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. Want to do Natty Ice Iron Man?
Saturday. Oh man. Saturday afternoon at a Comic-Con in Long Island.
Oh boy. You're gonna run into some weirds. We're gonna run the customers. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, why not?
Run the customers.
No. It's been a very long time. They may not remember you.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I hope so.
But it all may come back
to them.
Jerf Adler.
I hope. Hey, Jerf.
What else we got, man?
What else we got? We got Multiversity from Grant Morrison.
Can't wait.
Finally coming. Can't wait. I think we're both kind of excited to see Obama Superman returning.
Oh, hell yeah.
Captain Carrot's underway. It seems like it lost a bit of the scope that it did originally.
Yeah.
Where it was going to be, 52 individual worlds and kind of focus on that and do it as a weekly book and really cover as many different universes you have. But it seems like it's now kind of creating much more of a coherent overall storyline. I hope they keep the Watchmen stuff in there.
Yeah.
I hope they still like have that old school like a Shazam world and all that kind of stuff.
I can't wait for it. I'm really this is the most excited I've been for a DC project in forever.
Yeah. The Vampire Justice League, which he loves, I'm not too crazy about.
I'm cool with that, man. I'm cool. I want to see the return of the those Japanese teen heroes.
Oh yeah. I think they do Earth Prime too. They're gonna do all that
beautiful.
Stuff. Yeah.
I want it fixed. I want it all gone.
I think I really, in my heart of hearts, I feel like we're slowly getting there.
Yeah.
Because really, again, every week when new comics come out, it's a scary little thing. I read Nightwing though this week.
How was it?
Which was a lead into the Grayson series.
Yeah.
Well, it was one of the better ones.
Really?
Yeah. It was actually pretty good.
The only DC I read this week was Batman, and it was freaking awesome.
It was good. It was very good.
I'm gonna talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, Multiversity. Chris Sprouse is working on it. Carl Story, Frank Quietly, Cameron Stewart. And it's gonna have like the bookend things that he usually does, where he has like a 0 issue or and then like a finale or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm psyched for it. I used to have a lot of Grant Morrison in my life. And I no longer do.
Yeah. Well, he
DC killed him.
Yeah, DC killed him.
DC stole the soul from him.
He's in Grant Morrison sleeps in one of those Darth Vader chambers, like you saw in Empire.
Yeah.
And except when it just puts on like a bald head.
It puts on his face.
Yeah.
He's actually Alan Moore.
I'm excited about that. I don't really read much DC anymore. I flip through a lot of stuff like the World's End 52 stuff. Like I know it's got a good creative team on it, but I just can't force myself to pick it up. I don't even know if it's good or not.
It's I don't know. I don't even really know what it's about. Like I've been reading it, and I really can't tell you like what really that book is about.
One of those.
Yeah, it's just a lot of like nonsense happening.
Yeah,
it seems like how a lot of these weekly things work out. Like how they have like a basic plot. Like okay, this way this story arc is supposed to play out, but we haven't written the issue until it's actually like due. It seems like that same thing with Batman Eternal. Batman Eternal. I have no idea what that book is about. I know Gordon's in trouble.
Batman's around.
Professor Pig.
Yeah.
And there's this 3 weeklies going to be this summer. Yeah, Future's End, Batman Eternal, and then something else after Future, some crap.
That's a lot of moolah.
It's a lot of books, man. Yeah. A lot of nonsense books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always talk about that, though. We talk about that every week about how it's just kind of, you want more. But you know what? It's not the publisher of old. It's just crank
definitely not.
Just crank them out, guys. Just make it, and if it's got Superman, it's the Obama Superman story basically.
Pretty much.
It's got Superman's face on it, people will buy it.
Yeah.
It's got Batman's face on it, people will buy it regardless of the quality. I always feel like Marvel was more of a tougher sell with that stuff. I think that's why over the past like 15 years the quality of their books has increased dramatically, because they have name recognition, but at the same time they don't. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going out there buying like you have to make sure your Cat book is good. You have to make sure your Thor book is good.
Well, that's what I mean, like I think that DC has gone back to that old school format of like, produce and that's it. But Marvel, I think it all began when they started really, really focusing on the writer and the creativity that's coming out of the book. And was when they did Kevin Smith on Daredevil. Mm-hmm. I think that was a big, huge moment on how the vision of Marvel Comics, the realism that they try and portray most of the time, and just like a real focus on an incredible storyline.
I agree with that completely. That was the jump start of the current Marvel era that we're in the middle of. The whole Marvel Knights thing, well, that was the Marvel Knights. The original Marvel Knights concept of like
was all Daredevil,
stripped down stories, easy to read, and it was under a different banner, and it was just kind of like them trying something new. Punisher, same thing.
Yeah, and also back then it was interesting. I think they tried to do this is like the Bill James era and stuff like that. That there was no continuity really. Everything kind of existed in its own bubble. Yeah, everyone was burnt down crossovers, so they started from the ground up and tried self-contained little universes for everybody.
Right,
like stuff that would be having a Daredevil wouldn't reflect anything. And now we balk at that.
Yeah,
but it did help them kind of find the footing for some of their core characters.
Right.
You got the Mark Waid Captain America around that time, and
that's fantastic.
Started seeing them going in the right direction. So Arc going in a more coherent and visually appealing as opposed to
less 90s.
Yeah, you had the growing pains of getting out of like weird cyborg people and like armor and all that stuff, all like the trappings.
Which that's the interesting thing too, because that's what it seems like the DC stuff is going towards. Stuck on. It's like it's the dude with 6 arms and the cyborg leg, like that pseudo 90s Marvel image aesthetic.
Yeah,
and like those books look exactly like 90s Marvel books, which is crazy. Yeah, like that art style.
Like no, they're not. They're terrible. But that I think we said that when we first kind of noticed the trend of DC, many months ago, when you saw how backgrounds were and like how they were treating the aesthetic overall. Like there's always like computer screens or some like weird gray crap.
SVU.
Yeah, and it's all like there's just this like they're always fighting in some type of like bunker. There's no aesthetic to. There's no want to create like a really cool world. It's like a generic crap.
Yeah. which is
so 90s.
It's so nice, but it's also so 50s because that was like. Do you think subconsciously like they're going to like that older art style of like just shapes on a page with blank backgrounds?
But that was different. Like you had Superman turning into a lion, and you had like Batman turning into a gorilla. Like there was like there was a quirkiness to all of that.
Yeah.
But you look like old like Kurt Swan stuff, and you know like a lot of stuff. There was still a level of class to the book.
Right.
Like you looked at it like, okay, this guy knows what the hell he's doing. Like I know there's a lot of talented artists in DC, but you're not seeing good work coming from them.
Right.
I guess. I mean, they really don't have that many like big names anymore.
They have a lot of dudes. They have a lot of
Doug
solid
Monk,
dudes. Yeah.
Even Rice.
JH. I don't know if he's still with them.
Well, he's just doing the
covers, right?
Well, he's doing the Sandman Overture.
Okay. Yeah.
Count.
That counts.
But yeah, I think that made such a difference. I think it really like Marvel's gone through two major iterations in the last 10 years, like with after the Kevin Smith stuff, like it was the Bendis came on, Mark Miller and Warren Ellis started doing more work, and then they, all those guys have kind of like, established themselves as the architects, and now we have like the new guys here, like,
the new architects.
yeah, we have like Hickman and Remender. Like Remender, who'd have thought Remender would be this top of his game?
So good. Fraction.
Do
you think? Did you read the Uncanny Avengers annual?
I don't know.
The Mojo World. They're on Mojo World.
No, I never got it.
It's really good. It's really interesting. It feels very.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay, it feels very. There's like a lot of subliminal stuff in there, I feel like, and I wanted to ask you. A lot of
meta stuff, right?
Yeah, a lot of meta stuff, and I wanted to ask your opinion if like it felt like it was one big rant on like just superhero movies in general.
Is Remender who wrote it?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta check this out. I know I have it. I just never read it.
It's really good. It's really interesting. Yeah, it's and now you're getting like the Avengers stuff that's going on now. As much as I honestly as much as I loved Bendis's, and you could say Bendis's run was revolutionary.
Well, because
for the Avengers book, because Avengers was another thing that was like, I always felt like it was a tough sell for Marvel.
Yep.
You had a great team, and then it fell the way of the Justice League, where it's like you're not putting your A+ guys on the same team.
But that's the thing is they weren't A+ guys anymore.
Right,
like
right, yeah.
Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man were three of the most unpopular characters. If you were reading comics, like they're icons and everything, but there was nothing going on with them.
They were floundering big time.
It was all X-Men. Yeah. It was Spider-Man always, and that was pretty much it. That was your bread and butter for that. Hulk did well with the Peter David stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But there was it really took I think it got interest for all the wrong reasons. Before Bendis, I think one of the biggest things that happened in Avengers was like the Jeff Johns stuff. It got attention for the Red Skull storyline, the Del Rusk stuff.
Yes.
But it got ton of attention because Hank Pym, shrunk himself down and walked into Janet Van Dyne's vagina.
Yeah.
That got a ton of attention to it. But then they started the Bendis stuff, brought back the idea that it is the greatest team that Marvel can assemble.
Right.
These are your guys, but by that time, you had a good chunk of Iron Man stuff that's come out that's decent. You had the Warren Ellis Extreme stuff. Thor, I think he had some good stuff at that point.
Yeah, he did.
Captain America had Ed Brubaker doing his stuff and making him a mainstream character again. But they were a really floundering book. There was no one regarded who can off the top of their head say I love this Bendis story or I love this Avengers story.
Yeah, I think one of the big reasons they floundered was because it took a guy like Bendis to bring that style out of the box again to say look, just because they're superheroes, you don't have to make it hokey.
Yeah.
And it was a breath of fresh air, all this stuff. And you had these big moments too, which are more they would have been considered cheesy if without the proper setup. I think that's the beauty of Bendis's writing with the Avengers, because you had these very grand moments that had what could be considered cheesy lines, but you had amazing solid stories to back those lines up. Anything Cap yells in the middle of battle, and you look forward to it. You're just this is amazing. I can't wait till he says it,
But also, I gotta give credit where credit's due. None of that would have happened without the Ultimates.
I agree with that.
Like the Ultimates was the moment where they realized they can do something with the Avengers, and they were, and like to this day, like I love the Ultimates. I think aesthetically, it was awful in terms of like costume making and stuff like that.
I liked it, man.
I love the Captain America costume, but I always had a big problem with the way that a lot of the costumes looked.
See,
I love Hitch, and I love the way he draws.
See, I liked it because it was like, to me, that was like,
I know what you're saying.
The mashup of
Realism.
When X-Men came out, the first movie, and everybody complained about those costumes, and then Grant Morrison incorporated those costumes into the comic book, and then Ultimates was like, you know what, like if this is going to be a cinematic book, this is the realism of what these costumes are going to look like. And I always appreciated that, like they were very stripped down, nobody looked like they were going to look like, except now, like now in the Ultimate Universe, everybody looks like their counterparts.
Yeah, there's no real difference.
Yeah, but like, seeing, even like on the X-Men books, like seeing Wolverine in like a stripped down costume, they all look the same. They're all uniforms, all the Ultimates, like what was the Hawkeye's big thing? He had a triangle on his chest.
Yeah.
Quicksilver had like, he was just wearing like a bodysuit.
It was basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like me, a guy whose favorite costumes are like the crazy stuff. Like I understand what the original goal of Ultimates was, the realism factor.
Yeah.
But it made it work, and it made like it brought a great deal of attention over to Avengers.
Yeah, and now after the Bendis era, you have the Hickman era, which has taken Avengers to like such a crazy level of science fiction that it's unbelievable.
Well, Remender and Hickman, both of them have put out some of my absolute favorite like long runs I've seen for books, and that were totally original, totally like kind of revolutionary for the book. Whether it be like the crazy Franken-Castle stuff, but even before that, like the Hood, like I loved the Hood versus the Hood stuff where they brought back all the old guys that got killed in the bar with Scourge. That stuff was great. The X-Force run was mind blowing. All that X-Force stuff, even before that, it was good.
And there's still repercussions.
Yeah, and Fantastic Four from Hickman, Secret Warriors from Hickman, but this Avengers stuff and his new Avengers work. This is a guy you can tell loves this shit.
It's the next level too, man.
Yeah.
Did you read Avengers 30 from the other day?
Yeah.
How fantastic was that book?
It was great, and it felt like it harkened back a bit to the Bendis era, with like a lot of the wit, a lot of the witty dialogue and everything like that. But you read the issue obviously before this with with Cap. I love that crap. I think some people are complaining about a reiteration of a Civil War happening. But whatever, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I'm okay with that. That was a great dynamic. We haven't seen that in a long time. Let's do it.
I also feel like truly Civil War wasn't resolved completely.
It wasn't. Cap died.
Right, Cap died, and then when he came back, it was like, hey, this will never happen again. Yeah. Give my word, brother. And then
and Iron Man dealt with most of this stuff because Fraction was writing it at that time, and he got to write some really great, like dealing with the repercussions of Civil War.
Yep.
I mean, he erased his memory and all that stuff, and it was good stuff.
And the fact that he's somehow got the time gem.
Yeah, he's the time gem. But I also think that, I think with Tony, you really have to, he's best when he's left to, like, he could really eventually become something terrible. Like, he believes he's the smartest guy in the room, and he'll think that he thinks he's doing. He's a selfish person.
Right.
He usually makes the wrong choices when it comes to technology, just like Reed Richards. Those are the guys who I like to see these major character flaws in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with that completely.
And you saw a great bit of it with Captain America in that same issue where he was, how Captain America says, how you always say you would never do anything, differently. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
because he is just as pious as a lot of the other dudes are.
Yeah,
it's just like he gets the benefits of Captain America.
I think that's part of the genius of what Hickman is doing is that he's inverting the history of the characters in on themselves, because he's taking the archetypes and like whatever these characters were established when they were created, and he's kind of flipping it, saying like, telling the audience like, of course Captain America is always going to be Captain America, but these are the real world problems that you're going to face if you're continuing down that path.
Yeah.
And especially with Tony Stark and with Reed Richards, because, they're not, the fact that I like, what I really enjoy about that universe now is that you're kind of peppering in seeds of doubt of like thinking outside the box for this generation of fans, where it's like, yes, Reed Richards is the benevolent scientist. He would do no wrong. But the reality is like, he's, what's the word I'm looking for? He's an absentee husband. absentee father, dedicated to being a smart dude to fix the problems of the universe.
24/7.
24/7.
Knows he's smarter.
Right. Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Thinks he's the smartest guy.
Yeah.
Will always think that he's the best because he's a businessman.
Yeah.
And it's just like a weird dynamic, and like he covers himself in the suit.
It's your Batman Superman of this universe.
And you have a guy like the Beast who's willing to, and this is like the Illuminati stuff. It's interesting, like that pairing. The Beast, who is another smart dude. Science. These are all science guys,
right?
And he won't back down from saving mutant kind.
Black
Panther, King, Spirit, protector of Wakanda,
and also a science guy and a magic guy.
Right, science guy and a magic guy.
Doctor Strange,
the ultimate magic guy.
Yeah.
Who also had like a screwed up origin, like another arrogant dude.
Yep. And he has it in him, and they're kind of bringing that to the forefront again too.
And the most arrogant dude, Namor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I think. That's interesting that they, as much as Bendis played with the Illuminati, he never really did anything that was really shocking overall.
Yeah.
Hickman loved the idea of the Illuminati, and like, let's bring it to one step further and take a lot of the crazy stuff I did with Reed Richards and apply it to a big scale with all these other guys.
Right.
So to see it complement each other, and like what I think was great about his run on it was when New Avengers started, Captain America was on the team already as a leftover from Bendis' stuff, and they had their first issue with like destroying a world, and they gave Captain America the Infinity Gauntlet to do this stuff because they believe like this is the guy who's the purest of heart, and completely goes wrong, and Captain America's conscience comes in, and they all decide to mind wipe him.
Right.
That's just something great about this group of people and how they feel about like that pious, way that Captain America is that he's better than them, but all these guys believe that they're better. It's such a dynamic difference between the two of them.
Yeah,
and I think it's fun to play with. I don't think like these type of personalities should always be getting along.
Right.
I think some of the most interesting stuff came out of the rivalries between people, and it makes a team much more human.
Yeah. It makes it interesting because you don't know what the resolution is going to be, especially after this issue, which was Avengers 30, because the time gem came back into the picture, it transports them, 40 years into the future, 50 years into the future? And you don't really know what's going on. You don't know what the deal is with New York at the time. Apparently, it's all like they're going through some kind of like PAX phase of, like everything's great, all this technology is working, big Iron Man influence. And an older Hawkeye who seems to be and an older Hyperion, who seem to be the last survivors of whatever happened to that world if they continued down the same path.
Right.
I really like the old Hawkeye interaction stuff.
Well, I think they're realizing also finally over these years that he is like our answer to Green Arrow, where he is the other voice of reason amongst these people. He's the rebel and everything like that. It was handled incredibly well. Like the interaction, I love. Like I want to see more of the Hyperion stuff as well, because we always like seeing these Superman figures being played with in Marvel, and he's a really Hyperion has a long storied career, in Marvel Universe.
He does. I like this iteration of Hyperion a lot.
This
one, and I really enjoyed the Supreme Power Hyperion.
Oh hell yeah! All that stuff is great. Went on for a bit too long, but
it did. I lost track. Like the first miniseries was phenomenal.
The first couple of there's a few spin-off. That first Nighthawk series was really good with what's his name was drawing it?
Gary Frank.
No, not Gary Frank. What's his name was Crazy Face. Preacher.
Oh yeah.
The clown storyline.
Steve Dillon. Yeah.
Steve Dillon. Yeah, he did the weird clown stuff. That was like his Joker. Perfect.
And they did a Dr. Spectrum one too.
They did Dr. Spectrum one.
I can't wait to it gives me such like nerd joy to be a comic fan because of this this Avengers stuff is like, oh my god, they're going into the future.
Well, like we've said a ton of times over, I love the overarching idea of like screwing with time, like how all this stuff is kind of leading up to, like because they do believe there's some type of crisis going to be happening in Marvel. Maybe it's a crossover. Maybe like this crisis, both crises are going to happen at the same time, and this is where we get the interaction.
The DC Marvel?
Yeah.
That would be awesome, man.
They can do it now since what's his name left?
Yeah.
Bob Wayne.
Yeah. That would be awesome if this is just like, would you be mind blown if if you didn't get a spoiler for that? If it was just like,
it just happened.
One panel, you see
Batman.
You see Batman just like, what's this?
Yeah. Well, there was, I think 20 years ago, before like the internet really started up hardcore. I think there was always a rumor of like, I heard DC and Marvel are gonna combine.
Yeah,
and like not amalgam style, but they're actually gonna exist in the same thing. It's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen. But
never gonna happen.
I would listen if you read an Avengers storyline and it was like all this time, amazing storyline. We're gonna fantasy book the Marvel DC. Phenomenal storyline. Let's say this Hickman runs and ends with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's back to normal, status quo, blah blah blah. Last panel reveal, Shadow in the Avengers Tower, Batman with a mother box.
It's like, I'm here, bro.
Would you not lose your mind?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If it was not spoiled,
right?
Which, it would definitely be spoiled a year beforehand.
Great. It would be or if you think it's Black Panther in the shadows, but it's not.
Oh yeah,
that's how to do it. Illuminati.
Yeah. I think they did that recently too. I think they did like a weird Black Panther thing. With Batman, like a silhouette. Yeah, like a weirdo. I think it's like one of the cartoons.
Yeah.
Problem with those crossovers are always the ego of like each company. Like, we gotta put this. That's why they did like the back and forth, like the Spawn Batman stuff. They did one for Image, one for
yeah,
and that's why like the Valiant Blood Ties stuff worked with with Images, because they could do 1-on-1s. Because I really like the Kurt Busiek, George Perez, JLA Avengers stuff, but it's so like careful about the way they everyone's on an equal playing field.
Everybody's got to be even. Super even.
It's like, Quicksilver and Flash, they both won that race together.
Oh man, they did it.
Superman and Hulk, they both lifted that together.
Chums.
Yeah.
Superman held Mjolnir.
It was very careful. Very careful.
Yeah.
I don't think they feel too comfortable about them facing off against each other, but that's what everyone wants.
I just want to see Cat punch Superman in the face. I want that. I want
appearing on Shazam,
and I want Batman electrifying Iron Man. That's the simple stuff that I've been thinking about since I was 10 years old.
Yeah,
I
want to see a good Wolverine Lobo.
Yeah.
Or Wolverine.
That's hey, Wolverine shows up in the Batcave.
That the Wolverine Batman stuff would be probably cool.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know.
Because, you have to be selective about who you choose. Because one, a Wolverine Batman thing would be super easy because you can have Wolverine knowing, like your dad was he's a good guy. Doctor.
He knew his dad.
Overcome the animal.
So this is like, you're talking about a universe that they all exist in the same world. Like, it's not like they're colliding universes, but they all know each other. Like they do, like they've existed for a while.
All right, yeah, let's do it that way.
So like, it's like, like it's same world that has like Captain America, like Superman fought in World War II also.
Right. No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like, because it doesn't exist anymore. World War II doesn't exist in,
right.
I think only 2 people fought in World War II now in Marvel Universe. And it's Captain America and Nick Fury and Bucky.
And Wolverine.
And I don't think they even do that anymore, man.
Yeah, man.
They haven't made mention to his ancient past in a long time.
That hasn't been written out though, man. Because he was in World War II and World War I.
He did World War
I. Wasn't he in the Civil War?
Not anymore. They teased it.
They took that away.
Yeah, because 1886, I think, when he was.
I could have swore I saw something.
I think it's sometime they did. He did a Spanish American Civil War. Mm-hmm. Did that one.
Which that is.
I don't remember. He fought with Puck, and I remember back in the day. He did Korean War.
They're in Grenada.
Yeah.
He was in every major war.
Yeah, but he was in Weapon X for like 10 years somehow between all this stuff.
Right. You can have Frank Castle, new Michael Cray, Deathblow.
No, don't put them in there.
I know.
Don't start incorporating those crappy Wildstorm guys.
Like Steve Rogers used to do art for the Daily Planet.
Yeah, at some point.
But it also makes zero sense too. You can't do that because you can't have that universe with the same playing field, because it'll be like, where were you guys when Galactus showed up?
Oh yeah,
But
maybe they were all there. Maybe the JSA was interacting with Fantastic Four.
But I'd like to see that story of like I knew your dad, Bruce Wayne.
I want to see it done by good people. I don't want them to go to like Chris Claremont's like.
Yeah.
I want to see some top-notch talent. I want to see your Hickmans and Remenders. Your Jeff Johns, your Scott Snyders.
What would be your easy go-to for something you want to see?
For that, like between like them interacting, I would try and stay away from like all like the feats of strength and the feats of speed.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
I would like to see like Deathstroke and someone like another character. Like I don't want to say everyone would say like Deadpool. I wouldn't want that.
That's the go-to. That's the.
I don't want that.
Go-to.
I want like Taskmaster, Deathstroke because they're so opposite, or someone who's just as smart as him. I'm trying to like think of another character that would be like him. I want those. There's a lot like Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter.
A good write for Deathstroke would be an arcade story where he's like the final boss in like an arcade.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I want him as villain Deathstroke. I want full blown like murdering Teen Titans Deathstroke against like I don't know,
New Mutants.
And mutants. Yeah, something like that. That's pretty good. Like they kind of did that already with the Titans and whatever. But yeah, I'd like to see something like that. I for some reason I can't remember any Marvel characters.
Yeah,
Martian Manhunter I would love to see interact because he's never been. I don't think he's ever been in any of this stuff.
No, who would you put him? Like, what would be your deal for Martian Manhunter? Can we play this for the next 15 minutes?
Yeah.
I forgot what we used to do.
Give me a guy. The
fan
book
fiction.
It.
Yeah,
book it. Who would you have with Martian Manhunter? I need like a list of Marvel characters.
Martian Manhunter interacting with the Marvel universe, or like a last page cameo. I'm a big fan of last page cameos. Easy. Martian Manhunter has replaced Doctor Strange in the Illuminati.
I like that. Him in the Illuminati period is very good.
He can turn invisible, same power set. He can kind of like fool people. He can read people's minds. He would be like he would infiltrate the Illuminati to see what those guys are up to on behalf of the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
But then it all goes to shit as soon as somebody lights a cigar. He's afraid of fire.
Batman, Daredevil. I've always wanted that.
Yes. Yeah.
Punisher, Deathstroke.
All right.
I like to see that.
Like if he can bring Slade to justice.
Or vice versa. Or he's bringing like he's got a bounty on Castle's head.
Yeah.
Who else?
Black Adam, Captain America.
Black Adam, right? That's pretty good. I'd like to see that.
I want space guy interaction also. You know, like I'd like
Adam Warlock versus Wave Rider.
Yeah. Did you see the new Guardians trailer?
Oh,
the movie looks freaking great.
Awesome, man. It was. I was trying to show it to my girlfriend, and she was like, "We saw this already." I go, "It's a different one." Like, how different can it be? And it's pretty freaking different.
New
Rocket
awesome. Raccoon.
Yeah, man.
Bradley Cooper. Yo, Ronan looks amazing.
Yeah, they pretty much nailed that dude.
Yeah. I think it's Vin Diesel, right? No,
Vin Diesel's Groot.
Is he?
Yeah.
Right.
This Ronan is like British actor. I can't remember his name. Like someone you wouldn't like. Oh, I need this guy's gonna be a great Ronan.
Pierce Brosnan.
Timothy Dalton. I want Doctor Strange and John Constantine.
All right, yeah, that makes for a good story. I think that's the thing. Like you have to make for a good story. Like what fan fiction that you want to see? Like just John Constantine, Doctor Strange, phenomenal.
Thanos and Metron.
Yeah.
Battle of the chairs.
Okay.
Battle of the big chairs.
I think Thanos Metron would be great if it was just like that would have to be more of
talking about the universe type of stuff.
Right. Like Metron showing up and being like, "You remind me of Darkseid. What's your deal?" And then he kills Metron at the end and takes his chair and goes to Apocalypse.
Yes. I want it. Who else? Who are
Grifter? Gambit.
Oh boy.
They both have impossible coats.
That coat's so impossible. Bless you, sweetheart. Nick Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know what the go-to is on that?
Mr. Bones?
Sergeant Rock.
Yeah. Well, he's not even around anymore, man.
Yeah, but you can do a World War II story where they met and shook hands.
I think I think for a long time, especially when we were working in the comic store, you're around all these classic comics, so you see, the dudes who are available, like what's in the toy box for the most part.
Right, everything's right there.
It's right there. So like I remember we used to like fantasy book like Sergeant Rock and everything, and I don't think I've ever read a truly great Sergeant Rock story aside from Joe Kubert stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Like I've never seen him interact with with the DC universe to like a really good way.
Yeah. It's tough. Wolverine would be in that story too, where it's Thomas Wayne in World War II, as the medic on Easy Company, Wolverine shows up.
Yeah.
He has to get nursed back to health, but he's like, whoa,
It's
like
all
you healed
working.
yourself.
It's like, I know, bub.
And yeah, he's like, could you keep my secret? I'm an animal man. And then Thomas Wayne's like, sure, no problem. And then something happens with the Red Skull.
Yes. Something happens. Vision, Martian Manhunter.
Why? Because they both could turn invisible.
Yeah. And they're both the guys who are like the background guys in for both teams.
That is true. I do miss like classic Vision on the Avengers.
Ares, Wonder Woman.
There you go. Perfect.
That's good.
That's in there.
Story writes itself.
Yeah, I'm a different perspective. I'm a different aspect of your weird brother.
Yeah. Red Hulk versus Green Hulk.
Yeah. All big. I think I hate that that's the go-to of, like I get it. Yes, I get it. Like I want to see who can run faster, but like I don't care. Like
No.
I want like if it happens,
I
man.
know why I don't want it more than anything?
Mhm.
Because I don't want to hear the bitching afterwards.
Who cares?
Yeah, I don't want to hear like this, Austin should have been this guy.
Don't
He
go on the
can-
internet.
he can vibrate.
Because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Oh, of course.
Marvel movies, you're gonna have 2075 Superman and the Avengers.
Oh, God.
A huge cross franchise promotion.
Captain Marvel.
Like Kree Captain Marvel?
Kree Captain Marvel.
And
Black Adam. I don't know why. Dr. Fate.
Mhm.
Captain Marvel. Thanos versus Dr. Fate.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I would.
Bullseye versus Deathstroke.
Okay. All right. That's a good one.
I love Deathstroke.
I would do somehow Billy Batson and what's his name? The kid, Rick Jones.
Oh.
Switch places.
And he becomes, that's pretty good.
Like by accident.
So
and,
Shazam,
like,
Captain Marvel?
right. So like Billy Batson has to become Captain Marvel.
That's a good story right there.
Yeah.
I would buy that.
And Rick Jones has to become Shazam.
I'm into
But
it.
he can never remember the
word.
he can't remember the word.
How about who else? Venom versus Martian Manhunter.
All right. I'm gonna throw a character at you
Okay.
in that case. Can I throw anyone at you, or does it have to be
Hit me.
a major? Dakin.
Ooh, Dakin versus Deathstroke.
All Deathstroke.
Oh, Deathstroke. Like, name a DC character who can interact with Dakin. I'm like, who could fight Wolverine's kid? Who would fit
Right.
this? Such a weird character.
That is a weird character. Love him on the Horseman, man.
I love him on the Horseman. He's fantastic. All those guys on the Horseman are
Mhm.
amazing. Dakin versus he's a conniver, a schemer, Amanda Waller. He joins the Suicide Squad, becomes a center point of Suicide Squad.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's
Like
good.
he's assigned to kill him, and like he has to make his way to like Bellevue prison to kill her, and like he ends up becoming like the new Deadshot
Mhm.
for him.
I like that.
After having a really cool battle with Deadshot and Captain Boomerang,
Kills Deadshot.
and takes over the spot.
Put the mask on.
Puts a mask on, because he looks really awesome.
I like that. That would be a good reveal too if like Deadshot was actually Dakin,
That'd be awesome.
and then they fight Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Who else? Give me someone else.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight versus. There's no vigilante characters or Gangbuster.
Think about it. DC. A lot of the DC universe revolves around cops and cop-related people. Wally West.
Yeah.
Not Wally West. Barry Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Nightwing.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I don't
Yeah.
know if he's still a police officer,
No.
but there's
Batman Jim Gordon.
Jim Gordon. Gotham Central. There's like a lot of like police stuff in the DCU.
Because you can't be a vigilante because Batman's gonna break your chops.
Mhm. And also in the Marvel universe, like not so much with the cop stuff. There's
No.
no like
More vigilantes.
yeah, there's no major like, hey, it's like so and so from like the squad.
Well, they did for a while. They had Code Blue.
right, yeah.
Code Blue is pretty awesome.
And like the cops that interact with Spider-Man.
Code Blue is so good that they carry it over to Earth X, and they used it with Luke Cage when he was a cop.
Yes.
They don't really have vigilante dudes.
Mhm.
They had like Mad Dog,
Right.
and they had
And
Gangbuster,
the vigilante.
Vigilante. Manhunter at one point, the female Manhunter was
Yes.
kind of like a vigilante. Like she was actually going out and killing people.
Yeah. Everybody has to
Moon
be.
Knight versus Manhunter.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's a
All
pretty
right.
good thing. I loved her as a character. I thought she was fantastic.
That's
That was
good.
such a good book.
I would do Daredevil Manhunter too because of the lawyer connection.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of neat. You know?
That's kind of the book right there.
That she has to defend somebody against Murdoch prosecuting them or vice versa or whatever. That writes itself.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. And
Yeah.
Bullseye shows up and Moon Knight. Just for the
Moon
hell
Knight.
of it, just Moon Knight
Why
shows
not?
up. Iron Fist.
Iron Fist. Karate Kid. Iron Fist, Karate Kid. Can't like a Karate Kid from Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah.
Iron Fist. Tough dude.
Mhm.
Mystical dragon powers.
Yep.
Karate guy. Who no one knows karate and no one's a fighter.
Right.
No one's got powers. No one is like
Except for Batman.
Yeah, like it seems like looking at this, like there's not a lot of like dynamic, similarities between the two worlds. Like most people are either like someone who's unassuming, like a Peter Parker type, that becomes like a near god,
Right.
or you are like a benevolent dude, like perfect dude, like Wally West or Barry Allen, where you become like God, you have like more godlike powers.
Right.
Everyone like Firestorm, like he's a little kid that two teenagers that now become gods.
Yeah.
Billy Batson turns into a god.
Apart from villains, like think about this too, is mind blowing
Gee,
also.
villains.
Apart from villains in the DC universe being created on the regular, pretty much all your core characters were created well over 50 years ago.
Oh hell yeah!
Which is insane to me, you know.
I think Marvel has some track record because of the X-Men franchise for the most part, is creating some new characters, and that's few and far between as it is anyway.
Yeah.
Really, like those core guys, JSA, JLA guys, that's pretty much it.
They're all created in 1914.
Like, where's the last villain you saw? Like the brand new
Good villain, yeah.
Good villain.
Like, it's like because you can crank out villains like left and right,
Yeah.
but like a good, like a Sinestro,
Yeah.
or somebody like that. It's really interesting about that too, because you have your origins are very like Golden Age centric, for most of these characters, and
Prankster,
right, and Batman's like that was just like
archetypes.
it's like a post-depression kind of like, yeah, the guy his parents were killed, it's sad,
But it was also very shadow. It was like very much like the shadow at the pulp books, where you had like like Astro City we talked about a little while ago, like they call them like fashion villains, like guys in suits that have like one type of gimmick. Like Penguin's a great example of that. Like he's a fat guy that likes penguins and has his thing.
right. Marvel, as far as origins go, has like your just Stan Lee blow him out of the water
Jack Kirby,
thing. Right. It's not like forensics officer Barry Allen was doused with chemicals in a lightning storm. It's like
traveling through cosmic rays.
Like crummy loser piece of crap 16-year-old Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider and becomes a pro wrestler and then becomes Spider-Man.
The human genome is so screwed up from radiation that we have now a race of mutants being born.
Right.
You have a scientist being blown up with a nuclear weapon. Guy gets shot in Korea and built an armor in a cave.
There's a god up there,
Yeah, but there's a lot of diversity between a lot of these characters. And I don't want to sound like it's like DC didn't have any diversity, because there are like,
oh yeah.
I mean, but they all kind of still fall into a certain DC type. Like Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne dynamically are almost synonymous with each other. Like they're almost the same type of character, same look and everything. Superman, Batman, outside the cowl, they can be, confused with each other.
Right. Yeah.
Wally West, Barry Allen, there's not much of a difference for the most part. At least when they brought back Barry Allen, they made Barry Allen more like Wally West.
Let's get Reverse Flash reveal. Quicksilver.
That'd be cool.
Trying to get back to the Marvel universe.
That'd be really cool. Who else? Green Arrow, Hawkeye.
We've got time for one more.
Green Arrow, Hawkeye.
Yeah, well, that's the skills competition.
I would Green Arrow, Bullseye would be an awesome battle.
Yes,
that's really good.
I'll agree with that too.
But wow, I never really thought about the DC scope of like how kind of mundane it is for the most part.
And that's a terrible word to use too. It's just like it's not mundane. It's not. It hasn't been updated. There's nothing.
That's what I'm saying. It's built on a core system.
Yeah,
and it's like just like Kurt Swan stuff, like that type of look and everything. I think that's why they felt the need to do this New 52 thing, kind of revitalize it, but not in this way.
Yeah.
But that's what worked for them. That worked for years. That kind of core way.
Yeah. It I think this is the one time it didn't work.
And Jeff Johns was one of the first people that really knew how to like handle like all of the weird crap that they've made up and weird archetypes that they've been like utilizing them properly. Marvel does it great. Marvel has the greatest stable of villains out there.
Yeah.
You have Dr. Doom and Red Skull.
That's all you need. Magneto.
You just gave Magneto. You just brought back Red Skull as an even bigger nod to than he was before, and gave him Xavier's brain.
Right.
Made him to an awesome character.
Yeah. Like as far like at this point and the New 52, like Luthor.
Yeah. No, Luthor is always gonna be a fascinating character.
And the Rogues Gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Luthor is like the epitome because he's a human, but he is the most human character. He is a greatly flawed super genius. He's like your Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Iron Man, Lex Luthor.
Suit of armor versus suit of armor.
Yeah.
I like
Society of Supervillains versus the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. This has been another episode of Behind the Counter, episode 103. We're going to be on your computer box soon.
Computer box.
I'm Rich Dambolian.
I'm Joe Mama.
Good night.